Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rule. As always, it is so good to have you with us. Topping news, the leaders of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens holding a 3-hour meeting on Monday with executives of the Grand Bahama Power Company, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and Minister of Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darbo. Coalition leaders say the main goal heading into the discussion was the immediate reduction in the cost of electricity. They say during the discussion there were some areas of concern and major points that they did not agree on. All parties are expected to meet again on Monday of next week to address matters relating to residential and business customers. Coalition leaders say despite the meeting, which can be categorized as cordial, they are not letting up on the campaign to lower the cost of electricity. They plan to continue with the rally and petition drive on the grounds of KFC downtown. An International Maritime Organization, or IMO, representative warning that a major accident could occur if the status quo remains for pilotage in Freeport. Secretary General at the International Maritime Pilots Association, Nick Cutmore, issuing this warning Monday at the Bahamas Maritime Pilots Association Emergency Conclave on the state of pilotage at Freeport Harbor. Cutmore and BMPA Managing Director Aaron Ferguson telling the media that they raised several concerns over incidents of anchorage and lack of training for pilots during a meeting with labor officials recently.
Shipping is a dynamic business. It's moving on with technologies, and people have to train on the new technologies. And some of it, yes, is nice to have training, but some of it is mandated. The international community is mandating it, but it doesn't seem to have happened here. But I think your politicians need a good shake-up, and I did plead with them this morning. I did use that word. Please do something. You have had so many wake-up calls. When you have a big accident, that'll be too late.
These claims, Borco and Freeport Harbor maintain that training for pilots is on par with the best in the industry. 18 of the BMPA pilot members recently resigned after they claimed that their requests for independent pilotage were ignored by private companies. Cutmore commended the association for what it's doing to improve the circumstances.
What I'm hearing from this putative association that you're interested in better standards and training. I did ask this morning about standards of training, and again I was shocked. It's not the fault of the people here, but it exemplifies the problem of commerce being involved in running an operation.
Well, Director of Labor Robert Farquharson telling ZNS News today that an investigation is presently underway into claims made by pilots. He says he met with pilots in Freeport last week and on Monday this week. Farquharson notes that he will not offer a response to the allegations until their investigation is complete. And also in news this evening, the Freeport Passport Office not entirely happy with the response to its e-passport campaign. So staff members took to the streets on Tuesday to encourage residents to take advantage of the lull in activities at the local office. Reports say about 25,000 residents on Grand Bahama now have their e-passports, but Chief Passport Officer Clarence Russell says a significant number of Grand Bahamians still need to apply.
One thing that we have observed is that persons have name changes, persons have included names that are not on their birth certificates in there with errors. You need to get that sorted before you get into the passport office. And if you are uncertain, then speak with members of staff. We are available at 602-9850-12 or 3 so that we can give you all of the prerequisites to get your e-passports. Once the older persons in our community, grandparents, great-grandparents, were to obtain their e-passports, it's much easier for children and grandchildren to do so because your information is readily available in the system.
Now, applicants born before independence must provide the documents of their parents, and for those applicants whose parents were born after independence, they must take along documents from their grandparents. Russell says, based on experience, there is a spike in activities following a blitz like this one on Tuesday, and he hopes to see an immediate increase in inquiries this week.
So we're encouraging persons while things are slow, while the turnaround period is 1 to 2 weeks at this time based on the amount of applications that are actually in, to come down and avail yourself of the privilege. We're in the process of negotiations to go into the west and east ends in order to avail them of the mobile privilege. But until that comes, things are slow in the passport office at the C.A. Smith government complex just now, and so we're urging persons, groups if you want to, organize yourselves, come in and see us so that we can get you the service that you so deserve.
Well, a major health hazard at Hugh Campbell Primary School finally resolved today. Sanitation services moving in to rid the school of a mountain of trash that had been accumulating and causing a rat infestation issue. Yesterday, ZNS News reported that the matter was due to a delay in garbage pickup for weeks. However, we reached out to a Ministry of Education official. She could not provide an explanation for the delay, but insisted that the ministry was working to resolve it. Well, now that the matter is resolved, Bahamas Union of Teachers Area Vice President Quinton LaRota says moving forward, the ministry should ensure that this does not happen again. He says the union will also be working to have that garbage bin relocated away from the general area. Two Bahamian physicians now lead critical and core health services in the Grand Bahama Health System. Dr. Michelle Sweeting is the newly appointed Clinical Director of the Accident and Emergency Department at the Ram Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Tiadra Dorset Johnson is the new Clinical Director for Community Health Services. According to a statement issued by the Public Hospitals Authority, Dr. Michelle Sweeting is a trained certified trauma and emergency medicine specialist with certification in acute wound care, public health management, and research. Dr. Tiadra Dorset Johnson is a trained doctor in family medicine who holds a master's and diploma in family medicine, bachelor's in medicine and surgery from UWI, and bachelor's in art from Lincoln University, Pennsylvania. Managing Director of the Public Hospitals Authority, Herbert Brown, says these women have demonstrated their commitment to excellence in quality health care. He notes that these appointments come at a time when the PHA is embarking on a new dimension to improve clinical outcomes, patient satisfaction, and the provision of safe patient care. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
News that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Grand Bahama Humane Society moving their spay and neuter program to West Grand Bahama next week. They are calling it Mission Potcake. It is a free spay and neuter program, and it's being held in conjunction with the West Grand Bahama District Council and the Cone Foundation. Megan Shepard has this story.
Executive Director of the Humane Society of Grand Bahama, Tip Burrow, says that due to budgetary constraints, the organization has been unable to provide as much services as they would have liked to the Western District. But for 5 days beginning March 18th through the 22nd, a free clinic will be held at the local government building.
We did a community survey throughout 8 Mile Rock and part of Holmes Rock. And I think we reached about 20% of the households, and just within those households discovered over 400 animals that needed to be spayed and neutered, and probably another 400 to 500 animals that nobody's claiming but need to probably be picked up and looked after. So we anticipate that there's probably a need to spay and neuter well over 1,000 animals in West Grand Bahama. We have 3 veterinarians coming from away, and 2 of our local veterinarians, Dr. Gibbs and Dr. Walgoose, will also be assisting.
President of the Board of Directors, Joe Darville, says they're looking forward to a very successful event, and he hopes the clinic will be held every year. Pets from the Pinders Point and Hunters areas are also welcomed.
We are still welcoming people from all over West Grand Bahama to bring in their dogs and cats, etc., to be spayed and neutered. It will account for an extremely healthy animal population, also in lessening the population, because now it's exponentially just multiplying as a result of all of the dogs being in heat and having young, etc. That we want to bring under control. We're talking about an environmental issue here.
Chief Counselor for West Grand Bahama, Rosny Cooper, says the council plans to include spay and neuter clinics in their upcoming budget, and this event will provide an estimate of funds needed. He says this will also help with a major problem in that area.
One of our main concerns was the amount of complaints that we had about persons being attacked, not necessarily being bitten, but being attacked, meaning that they're not free to walk the streets, children coming home from schools. So we see this as a plus for us, and we're very pleased to be in a position to assist the Humane Society.
Drop-off times are between 7 and 11 a.m. Pets are to be picked up between 4 and 6 p.m. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
The spring break season is already underway, and the Spring Breakthrough the Bahamas 2014 committee is promising some clean, wholesome activities for students. Coordinator Derek Stubbs says events kicks off this Friday at the St. George's Gym with a youth explosion featuring talent from the U.S., Trinidad, and the Bahamas. Stubbs is encouraging all spring breakers to take advantage of the spiritually based activities.
The purpose of this whole event is to give people things to do around the spring break season that is more spiritually based and clean. I think spring break is normally attached to the carousing and the drinking and you know all the other negative that goes with it. And so we have decided to do something for those young Christians that are in college and you know they want a break, to know that they can come to the Bahamas and have something positive to do.
Now, Day 2 provides a little bit of friendly competition between church, high school, and community-based basketball teams. Buster Lang of Grand Bahama Sports says the competition is sure to be entertaining and will feature a top international team. Counselor for the city of Freeport, Shavita Campbell, says she fully endorses this event.
We have two feature teams coming from Riviera Beach and West Palm Beach. The Wave Runner traveling basketball team, they're made up of grade 7 and 8 girls. Great team. They're the defending champs in the Palm Beach Stars tournament. They also have a grade 9 team. They are the runner-ups in the USA basketball traveling tournament. They are led by Hannah Premozek. So we're looking forward to covering this event from tip-off to the very final whistle.
I see it fit that we have our students, our children enjoying something that's positive during that break. You know, if they are not involved in anything positive, we find that they will do things that are contrary to our values. And so therefore, this being something so fitting as a community leader, I only see it fit for me to endorse such a venture.
Activities wrap up on Sunday with a worship service. And finally, in news this evening, this year's edition of the E. Clement Bethel National Arts Festival set to kick off next week, Tuesday, on Grand Bahama. The festival is keenly contested throughout the country. Cultural Affairs Officer Monique Leary says they're anticipating a good show yet again.
It is going to be a wonderful display of talent here in Grand Bahama. The adjudicators for the festival this year is Mr. Valentin Mara, who will be the adjudicator for drama. We have Ms. Elizabeth Thornton, who is the adjudicator for music, and Mr. Lawrence Carroll will be the adjudicator for dance. And so I just want to thank everyone and the support of the Ministry of Education to the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture for this wonderful show of talent here in Grand Bahama.
Well, Grand Bahama captured 65% of the overall awards in last year's festival. Deputy Director of Education Sandra Edgecombe says she's looking forward to a grand performance from local schools again this year.
We're well on the way to almost 1,000 participants. And when I looked at the schedule, I saw private schools, church schools, primary schools, all of our children. And it just speaks of the work, the tremendous work that our teachers and administrators are doing in our schools, because it takes a lot to prepare the children for such an event. And the public is well aware of the standing of the Grand Bahama schools. We've always been leading this festival.
Now the festival wraps up on March 28th. Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn is up next with a check on sports.
Everybody, welcome to Sports and Ricardo Leiber, and this one goes out to none other than Kate Outen over there, and she's having some fun in Luthra. Here we go. Well, it's taken 33 years for the Bahamas World 1981 Games bronze medal winning team to be recognized for their accomplishment, as they were in Santa Clara, California. Well, ISF Hall of Famer and past president of the Bahamas Soccer Federation, Churchill Tenor Knowles, says finally they're going to go to the House of Assembly tomorrow and be recognized for that honor.
Were the most outstanding in the Caribbean, Latin America, Central America, and South America. And so both of our teams, men and ladies, were invited to the World Games in Santa Clara. And we, ladies, fortunately, did very well, won a bronze medal in the World Games. And we are now being honored or appreciated tomorrow at the House of Assembly for that bronze medal 33 years ago.
Churchill candidates, the Gregory and coach Godfrey Gully Pinder are elated with the honor. Candidates in her playing days is one of the best in the world and proud of the moment.
It's certainly a privilege, and it's definitely an honor to be even asked to come to the House of Assembly. But it's never too late, Ricardo. You know, and it's always good to receive your flowers while you're alive. And I am just so thankful that no matter how long it has taken, that they are recognizing us.
Coach Godfrey Gully Pinder coached many Bahamas national teams. He says it was worth every moment.
The players in those days, like Candy says, you know, they were eager to play. It was more discipline. You know, we didn't have to come out there and preach what to do. We show them once, and they come out and they will do it, and we will just work, and they were eager to work, and that was so important in that team, you know. And we drove them to the best of our ability, and I think that would really put us on par with the world.
Gully, Candace, and Churchill, and members of that 1981 team, will be on at House of Assembly tomorrow, and it says better late than never. And congrats to all of those guys who are going to be in the house in the morning. Well, the Bahamas Youth Football League failed to hold a season and on the verge of collapsing. Well, there is hope. A product of the program is trying to get it back. The Bahamas Youth Football League is planning a comeback, and former player is making an effort to revive the youth program. Jamal Adderley says it is a viable program and much needed.
I saw that the BYF was declining in a way, in the sense that after Lisa went, it started to decline. And I noticed that, and I noticed how much potential we have as young men, how much potential our young men have. I see that football is a way to channel all of that energy, all of that negative energy into positive energy. So I see Bahamas Youth Football as an organization to uplift our young men, keep them off the streets, keep them positive and healthy.
Lisa Anthony founded the Bahamas Youth Football League and the Bahamas American Football Federation. She used her name to secure the equipment for the league, and that is helmets and shoulder pads. Jamal says the hope is to get her back to Grand Bahama to assist in jump-starting the league.
I talked to Mr. Jeff Rogers at the Ministry of Tourism, and he told me to follow my dream, my passion, which is football. And after that, I spoke with Miss Lisa Anthony and her son. When I spoke with her, she said she is willing. She's willing to help. She's willing to come back.
The Bahamas Youth Football League fell by the wayside due to the lack of commitment by the administrators of the program. It should have never failed. Elisa Anthony invested all of her time and effort in setting up the program, and the cutthroat coaches and administrators, well, they simply killed the league and in more ways killed her. Now they're asking Ms. Anthony to breathe life back into the program. Gentlemen, you failed our young men and did not take care of our boys. Guys, get it together. That's a look at your sports tonight.